Hey everybody, I'm Canon Explorer of Light David Bergman. As Luke Combs' full-time tour photographer, my job is to document Luke's career and also capture the raw energy of our shows every single night. Concert photography presents its own unique challenges. The best action happens really fast, the light is always changing, and I'm trying to tell the story from as many different angles as possible. I want my images to make the fans who were there feel like they did that night and make the fans who weren't there wish that they were. So today I want to talk about the Canon RF lenses that I rely on to help me do exactly that. Now I own a lot of lenses and I love to experiment with different ones, but these are my favorites and they consistently help me get the shots I need night after night. Let's start with the lens that does the most work for me. That's this one right here. This is the Canon RF 24-105mm f4L IS-USM. This lens is my workhorse. If I had to choose one go anywhere, do anything lens, this one would be it. The 24-105 range, it's just insanely useful, especially when you're close to the action. At 24mm, I can make big wide photos that show the full stage, the lights, the atmosphere, and the crowd. Then, with a quick twist of the zoom, I can be at 105mm and suddenly I'm isolating hands on a guitar, a great expression, or a spontaneous moment. This lens makes it incredibly easy to react. Concert photography is not posed or predictable. If I see something happening, I need to be able to frame it immediately, and the 24-105 gives me a big focal range so I don't miss anything. And that brings me to my second most used lens. That's this one right here. This is the Canon RF 100-500mm f4.5 to 7.1L IS-USM, and it's the lens that lets me cover almost everything else that I can't get with a standard zoom. 100-500 is an insane range, and it picks up right where the 24-105 leaves off, and it just keeps going. A lot of people think that 500mm is something you only use when you're really far away, like for sports or wildlife, and it's great for that. I definitely use it when I'm photographing the show further back from the soundboard, and it gives me tight shots that look like I'm right on top of the stage. But there's another way that I use this lens. When I'm close to the stage, I can photograph details the crowd would never see, like the words on Luke's guitar or the reflection in his mirrored glasses. Also, on a huge stage, some band members are just naturally further away, like the drummer. With the 100-500, I can get tight shots of him from wherever I happen to be at that moment. Now, since this is a variable aperture lens, you might think that a 7.1 maximum aperture doesn't let in enough light at 500mm to get fast shutter speeds. Now, I have the advantage of working with excellent stage lighting, but even crazy high ISOs look great on modern Canon cameras. I regularly shoot at 6400 or higher and can easily get shutter speeds of 500th of a second to freeze the action happening on stage. You used to need 2.8 lenses to cover concerts, and the classic combination of 24-70 and 70-200 is still going to cover you in almost any situation. But because the cameras are so good today at high ISOs, I can quickly capture images from 24mm all the way to 500mm. I carry these two lenses on Canon EOS R1 bodies, which means I can go wide with one camera, tight on the other, and switch instantly. I'm moving around constantly, so speed matters. Having two bodies means I don't have to fumble with gear and can just concentrate on capturing the action when something awesome is happening in front of me. Okay, so I've got a lens that covers most of the stage action up close, and I've got one that reaches across the entire venue and pulls out details. But there's one more lens that I love to use and have with me every single show, and that is right here. This is the Canon RF 10-20mm f4L IS-STM. It is my go-to lens to show the whole environment and create epic wide shots of tens of thousands of fans in a giant stadium. At some point during every show, I like to go all the way up to the top to make images that show the full house. The crowd, the lights, the size of the production, there's energy in the building, and you need a really wide lens to see it all in one photo. 10mm definitely makes a huge wide shot, but what I love about this lens is that it's not just an extreme wide. I can zoom into 12, 14, 16, 20mm, and that little bit of flexibility makes a big difference. Sometimes 10mm is just perfect. Other times, it's a bit too much. If there's something in the foreground that feels distracting, or if I just want the stadium geometry to look a little more natural, I can tighten up a bit and control the distortion while still making an epic shot. So, these three lenses are the ones that I rely on the most. The RF 24-105 f4L IS-USM, I use this for storytelling and fast reactions. The RF 100-500 f4.5 to 7.1 LIS-USM, I use this one for details and covering the entire stage. And finally, the RF 10-20mm f4L IS-STM to show the big picture. It's the perfect trifecta. To create memorable images, you have to use your eyes, your brain, and your heart. But I also rely on Canon RF lenses because they're built to keep up with the demands I throw at them on the road. When your goal is to make people feel something, having tools that you can trust every single night is what matters. I'm Canon Explorer of Light David Bergman. Thanks so much for watching.